What's going on, guys? It's Fragger here again, and welcome back to another episode of Fragger Builds. So last time we built up the interior in this little palace area, and I am incredibly happy with how it turned out, especially with this kitchen area. The rest of it looks pretty good. It could be worse, but I'm very happy with how this kitchen area turned out. And I know I said I was going to work on the rest of this off camera between episodes, but yeah, I didn't really get around to it. Instead, though, as you can probably see here, I got full netherite gear, and it actually didn't take me as long as I thought it would. It took me about an hour's worth of netherite mining to get enough netherite to finish up the rest of the gear that I needed to get done, and also to get a few extra netherite ingots. So it really didn't take that long. And as you can see here, I also textured the pathway off camera, and I think it looks much better than it used to, being just straight cobblestone. And I did also get this pathway done up here, ending off right here, and we will get to where this goes in a little bit. But as you might also be able to tell, I did increase the scale of the GUI here, and I think that is going to be much better for those of you who are watching this on mobile. You will actually be able to see my inventory now and my hotbar, and you can kind of see what's going on there, and it won't just be this small little thing that you can't really tell what's going on with. But getting into what I want to do in this episode, I want to obviously get this pathway connected up with the rest of the palace area, and that is just going to come around the mountainside here, and then it will connect up to the palace area over on... That was interesting. Anyway, it's going to connect up with the rest of the palace area over here, and then that will go into the staircase that will take you up into this main area here. And then as for the rest of this area, today I really want to try and get this little area here figured out. Now, I did get a suggestion in the last episode, and it was not specifically for this part of the build, but they suggested that I build a hanging gardens area somewhere in the city, and I figured that this would be the perfect area to put it in, because I was already planning on building a garden area in this courtyard anyway, but I think making it a hanging gardens is going to be even better than just a plain old garden area. And when they suggested that, I immediately thought of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and that is like the perfect build style. It would fit in perfectly with this area, and I think that is just a really good suggestion all around. So I do want to get that figured out today. So to start off this episode, I'm going to do a quick little time lapse of me building up that pathway there. Alright, so this pathway is completely finished, other than some of the overhanging parts here. As you can see, I do need to build up the mountainside here so they don't just like float over the edge. But other than that, this pathway is finished. I also want to build up that area as well. When it comes to the mountainside here, so this thing is also not just hanging over the edge, but I was waiting to get this pathway in here so that I could get a better idea of the dimensions that I had to play with. But on Monday, actually, I did a live stream in this world. I was not building this up, I was building up some more of the mountainside over there, and I also gathered a little bit more stone down in the mines there, and overall it was a pretty good stream. Some of the settings were a little bit off, so the quality wasn't really great. I had the bitrate a little bit too low and my microphone was turned up a little bit too high, so I was peaking like pretty much every time I talked. But I did some adjusting to the settings, so hopefully next time it should be fine. And I do want to do a few more streams in the future. I'm not exactly sure when the next one is going to be because it is very dependent on a lot of different things, and I'm not going to be able to stream at the same time every single time I stream, so I'm not really sure when the next one is going to be. But anyway, next I think I want to try and build up the hanging gardens here. And actually, I think I may have found like the perfect story for this city, and it fits in very well with having a hanging gardens here and also having like every single house over there have its own little garden area as well. And I think the story behind this city should be that it is a city of gardeners. So like everything is going to be filled with like flowers and leaves and bushes and a bunch of other stuff too. And I think it would be perfect for this little city area, especially with a lot of the additions that we are adding to it. So definitely let me know what you guys think about the sort of lore, I guess, of this city, that they're just like a city of gardeners. I still need to add a lot of garden area to this side of the city. I have a few garden areas built up already, but there's way more garden areas already planned out, and I still need to fill those in. And I also want to make this little strip here have like a lot of flowers and bushes and stuff. But anyway, for this hanging gardens, I kind of want to do a multi-tier system, kind of like a pyramid sort of, but not really. Probably will only have like 2 tiers, maybe 3, I don't know, probably just 2 honestly. And then it'll just be like a bunch of leaves and flowers and stuff on the inside, and I think it'll look really good. And I do want this pathway here to kind of come down along here and then meet up with like the top of the first tier and like the bottom of the second tier, I think is where the pathway will meet up with this hanging gardens. And then I'll have some like staircases on the inside that will run down to the bottom level, and then eventually the pathway inside the hanging gardens will take you out this way, and then it'll connect up with the rest of the city over there. I also may take out some of these hills here so that you can kind of see it better, but I'll definitely leave that one, and I'll most likely leave this one as well. Maybe cut it a little bit short. I don't know. I'll figure all of that stuff out when I build it. But I do have an idea in my head of what I want it to look like, and I think it'll look pretty good. So I'm going to get started on building this, and I'll probably do a time-lapse of it again, another time-lapse. And then I'll meet you guys back up once I am done building up this hanging gardens. Alright, so I am back, and unfortunately I was not able to finish this thing on camera because I am completely out of quartz and I'm pretty much out of copper. I have about a stack and a half's worth of copper still oxidizing that I will use for this roof, but that's still not going to be enough because that right there is about a stack's worth of copper. So yeah, this roof is gonna take a lot of copper. But I did decide to make these quartz pillars a little bit thicker, which is why I am completely out of quartz and I need more. So I'll gather up all of the quartz and copper and stuff off camera between episodes and then finish this thing up. Anyway, this thing did take a little bit longer than I was expecting it to. It was about 3.5 hours of replay recordings, and that doesn't even include all of the time spent gathering up the resources. So this is probably going to be the last thing that I do on camera for this episode, unfortunately. But before I let you guys go, there is one more thing that I want to do, and that is to decorate the interior of this place. So off camera between episodes, I did some gathering up of some foliage blocks here, and I did find some moss blocks as well in a shipwreck, because in 1.17 that is, I believe, the only way that you can get moss blocks. You might be able to get moss blocks from a wandering trader, but I'm not sure. I know the wandering trader is the only way to get the drip leaves, but you can also get moss blocks from the shipwrecks, and I got a few of those. So I will use those, and I'll be using a ton of leaves. And I do also want to grow a bunch of trees and stuff in here and use the azalea bushes and a bunch of other stuff. But before we actually get to placing those down, I do want to put a pathway in here. And it'll probably be just a very simple pathway. So I want it to kind of start around here and then like wind around and not really be symmetrical, and then meet up with this probably about there is good, and I'll replace that. And then this is all going to get filled in with cobblestone all the way along, just like that. And I do also want to add another section to the pathway that like kind of cuts across here. So I'll probably start that here, and then this can go over and meet up there with the pathway, and then that will cut through and then end up there. So I think that is pretty good. And this will be a 3-block gap here because I still need to make this pillar a little bit thicker. And then we just fill this in with cobblestone again. And there is the pathway. And I do want to come through here in some spots and just kind of like add in some path blocks like this along the edges. Just like that. So we have the pathway done, and now it's time to add in all of the extra stuff. And I think I'm going to start off by putting in some of these trees, and I do actually want to make a flowering azalea tree. So I'll put an oak tree probably here. There, that's good. And maybe put a flowering azalea right there. Yeah. That looks really good. And maybe try putting in an acacia tree over here. Oh, yeah, that's fine. It's not going over the pathway. And maybe another acacia tree over here. See if that will grow. Yeah. And then maybe do another one over here. I do want to try and use primarily acacia trees, since this is a savanna. I don't think that's going to grow there. So I do want to try and primarily use acacia trees. But it's looking like these ones are not growing. Oh, there we go. And then let's see if we can put another oak tree like there. Yeah. I think that is really good. I really like the way this feels already. So I am going to add in some moss blocks probably. Probably try and keep them to just around the trees here. I think will be best, because that makes sense for where moss would be. And I may come back through and add in some like rock formations and stuff in here as well, potentially. But for right now, I'm just going to keep it with the foliage. So I'll add in some moss around these trees here, and then I'll be right back. Oh, where did you come from? That scared me a little bit. I was not expecting to see that right then. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have added in some moss underneath all of these trees here, and then I think I'm going to add some of these azalea bushes. I'm not going to grow them up into these things because I don't think I could fit any more of them in here. But I do want to have a few of these around, some of the smaller bushes. And I kind of want another tree here, but I don't know if it would grow. I don't know. I think it's fine the way it is right now, though. So we'll just place a few of these in here. And on these ones, I want to make some of them like the taller azalea bushes like that. I've seen a lot of people do this trick, and I think it looks pretty good. Actually, I'm probably going to leave that one short, and then we can put that there. So yeah, there we have some azalea bushes, and I do want to come back through and put in some flowers, and then we can place these in around the place. Alright, so I have all of the grass placed in, and I do want to add some bushes in here. And I don't know if I really like this pathway the way it's set up right now. I kind of feel like it's taking up a little bit too much room. Maybe if I add in the bushes, because I probably want to kind of come in here like this with the bushes. Alright, I think that looks so much better with these bushes in here, kind of sectioning everything off. And I really, really like how this is turning out so far. I do want to add some bushes up there though, so I'll get to adding those in. And I may end up running out of bushes, so if I do, then I'll just finish this off camera. Between this episode and the next, there's going to be a lot of that going on. So I'll just come up here and place some bushes in, and I do want to have a lot. Well, now I have to go back down. Anyway, I do want to have a lot of bushes kind of coming in through this area as well, and spreading out to the outside, so it just really looks like this massive garden is spreading everywhere. So that's kind of what I want to do with this place, and I'll start off by doing it up here. But I do want it to kind of spread around this place a little bit as well. Alright, so just like that. And I do want to add some of like hanging down bits with these leaves so that they're like coming through that. I don't even know what that's called. I should probably know what that's called. But the fence gate thing there, I do want to have some leaves coming down through there, but I'm almost out of leaves. So I may have to come back through off camera and add that stuff in, but I'll try to do a lot of it right now. Alright, so there it is, and I do have a few leaves left over, so I'll probably add some of those in a few other places. But that is basically the vibe that I want to go with, and this area here is pretty much finished. Like I said, I still need to get more quartz to finish up these pillars, and that is actually in the way of the pillar. And so is that one. So I'll have to come back through and like remove some of these things because they are in the way of the pillar a little bit. because this does need to come out to here. So I'll just do that, and then these pillars are already done here. So that is going to be it for this one. I didn't get as much done as I would have liked, but I think it's fine. What I did get done, though, I think turned out really good. So I am pretty happy with what I was able to get done today. And let's get a nice bird's eye view of this place. And I think it is looking amazing. And once we get all of the bushes around the outside here, I think it's going to look even better, especially with the copper roof finished once that is done, and these pillars being a little bit thicker. But that will all be done later, and unfortunately I am all out of time for today. So if you did enjoy this one, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. And if you guys have any suggestions for this series or any other series on my channel, then make sure to leave those down in the comment section below. And if you guys want to interact with me or my community outside of YouTube, then make sure to join my Discord server linked down in the description. But anyway, that's all for today, so as always, don't forget to keep building.